Hi.
Hi, Mr. Saurabh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Perfect.
Is this
Uh,
better? Is this okay?
yes, this is perfect. No problem.
Okay, okay, okay.
Let me just check. All right. Perfect. So, just to give you a heads up, we are live. Few
Okay,
attendees would be joining here. Few would be sitting in the office and listening to us. And then it would also be live on the social media channels. Okay. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, Mr. Saurabh. Glad to have you.
thank you, Anuruddh. Anuruddh, can I just adjust my camera a bit? I
Yes,
think the
yes, yes.
reflection. So I think I'll just adjust it. Is this a little better?
Yes, yes. Perfect. Uh, all right. Okay, I guess we are live everywhere, right on time. Perfect. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Not a warm, not a cool, but a normal evening. I guess the temperature across Nagpur, Pune, and Maharashtra is pretty much normal now. Once again, welcome to Fireside Chat. This time we have a very exciting profile guest with us, that is Mr. Saurabh Shah. Let me introduce Mr. Saurabh. So, Saurabh sir has done his engineering in computer science, probably from Pune University, and after that, he has also completed his postgraduate management program from MIT School of Business, and then he has also done masters in personal management, MPM in human resource back in 2008 from Pune University again. So born, brought up, and entire thing is being around Pune, it seems. And now you are working in one of the very exciting organizations, that is KRAFTON. The KRAFTON, I don't know how many of us know KRAFTON, but it is the company behind PUBG. So the PUBG is the brand name which everyone knows around in India and across globe. The game which has made our youths crazy to be ill and around. So uh, sir is the man behind handling the entire people ops. So sir is the director of or head of people operations in Crafton. So we'll be talking more about the company, the culture, building, and the entire experience. So this is the current scenario. But before this, Mr. Saurabh has also worked in industry for, I mean, he's working in the industry for last 17-ish years. So before this, he has worked in and around people management and multiple human resource driven roles for companies such as Tata Technologies as well, and Foltron Motors. So perfect. So again, a huge welcome to you for agreeing to do this. Let me give you a brief about our audience. So so basically, Fireside Chat at Fireblaze is Fireblaze. We are an edtech company based or started out of Nagpur, Maharashtra again. We have our branches across Maharashtra as of now, Pune, Nagpur. We have three branches in Nagpur, and then few more subsidiaries are coming up in Hyderabad and Southern India region. So, and I am Anirudh. I am founder of the company and driving this, educating, empowering youths, enlightening their careers in predominantly in the data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence sector. Uh, so our audience is also pretty much in and around tech as well as management backgrounds.
Sure.
So these would be majorly freshers, college going students in their final years, as well as passed out professionals who want to come into tech. So probably everyone, most of them, I know that they are very excited and they are already your company's audience. Okay, so this is the exact audience which is probably the TG of Crafton as well, or the most active users of Crafton as well. But yes, these are aspiring people who are crazy about tech companies and look out for a very good settled job in this AI driven economy, wherein the things in tech world are changing like anything at a very tremendous speed. So that's the background, that's the introduction. Let's start with you telling how were the early days, like how was the situation when you graduated and why you choose this particular stream.
Sure. Thanks, Anirudh. It's indeed a pleasure and honor to be on this fireside chat with you. And as you said, yes, of course, I'm extremely proud of being at Crafton, wherein along with PUBG, we've got 30 other IPs as well. Uh, I'm proud to be a part of an organization where our the game for India, which is BGMI,
Yes.
is we really don't call it a game, but we call it as India ki heartbeat because we've got more than 200 million fans who play the game very regularly and are part of a fan community. So again, thank you for extending this invite, and I'm really excited to speak to you and then share my thoughts with you and the students who are part of this conversation and help them understand uh, the professional space a little more, probably through my eyes. It all started probably around 20 years back when I was part of when I was pursuing my engineering. And in the second year, while we had some management subject, that's when I kind of decided for myself that uh, probably management is a space I would want to be. Having said that, I was already pursuing a technical course, and once into it, you have to give your 100%. So I went through the 4 years. Was fortunate to have a fantabulous career doing my engineering as well. I mean, I was part of. I was one of the top ranking students in the college during my final years. I had a pre-placement offer from Wipro Technologies because that's where we did our final year project.
Ah,
But then probably because I was so aligned to my own thought process that I said that probably I'll take a small break, work with a company just to kind of make my ends meet, and then pursue on to my full time management program. So that's how it all started, and then again 2 years with MIT WPU was probably the best part of my education journey, where it opened up a lot of perspectives to me and it probably helped me cement my thought that while my background is a tech is it a tech space, but then probably people is where I find my passion, and that's where it got cemented, and that's how the journey started at MIT WPU. And then Tata Technologies was 5 years, out of which 3 years was India, 2 years I was in the US. Then came back to India because I always wanted to be in India.
oh,
Came back and joined Photon Motors, startup at that point. They were like probably 10, 15 people when I joined them. Worked with them for a couple of years. Then moved on to join Capita. Worked with them for 8.5 years. My last role with them was the global head of HR, where I was managing all the technology, employees, the technology, workforce across all the geographies like India, UK, Ireland, Poland, South Africa. Then moved on to join a SaaS startup, a Series C funded startup, where I was the VP Human Capital, and I looked after the enabling functions. And now with Crafton, where along with HR, so I'm responsible for all the enabling functions within Crafton, which is basically HR, general affairs, workplace experience, IT, corporate affairs, procurement, so all of those areas. So it's been a amazing and inspiring journey, and Yeah, that's how it all started.
I mean, this is exciting. Uh, I mean, you just told that in the second year itself you had a subject around management, and that's when you felt that okay, this is the passion, this is where I should head. Never in your third or fourth year you thought that you should take a route in computer science, because back then this was an emerging field, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I think uh, I was fortunate to be surrounded with people, family, or my teachers, supported me in that area, and I thought that this is something path-breaking, where being an engineer, I would be able to build my technical skills, build that analytical skills, and what if I'm able to bring those into my people profession? Probably, I thought that that could be a very unique proposition to go ahead. And that's how I think I was very sure, and I think with every passing month or years, I think the thought was getting more cemented. And probably that was the reason, while we are four of us doing our final year project, the rest three of them got the, I mean, all four of us got the PPO. But then, I think I was determined enough to say that, I will give it a pass, and then probably, pursue what I want to.
It is difficult to say no to an offer. Perfect. So, I mean, you rejected the offer, you went on to pursue postgraduate programs in management, and then you gained knowledge in college, and then you entered into Tata, right?
Yeah.
Tata Technologies that time, again, it might have been early days. Tata Technologies went IPO last year, right?
Yeah.
So back then it might be 2008, 2009, right?
Yeah, 2007.
So how was the culture? I mean, like, was it a campus placement or you applied?
So interesting story behind that, Anirudh. So we have a summer internship program which is there between your first year and second year of MBA.
Correct.
That is where I got placed with Tata Johnson Controls through campus
Okay.
for my summer internship. Worked there for 3 months, and towards the end of it, I was fortunate to get a pre-placement offer from Johnson Controls. Uh,
Okay.
so I said, okay, I'm excited. I will definitely join, etc., etc. My second year started, and I get a call from the head of HR of Tata Johnson Controls one day, and he tells me that, hey, Saurabh, by the way, I'm no longer working with Tata Johnson Controls, but I've moved to Tata Technologies. I have a proposition for you. You obviously have an offer of Tata Johnson Controls, but I'm moving, or I've moved to Tata Technologies. Do you want to give this a try? Do you want to be part of Tata Technologies instead? What are your thoughts on that? Very frankly, I just went with what was proposed, because I had already spent 3 months working with him, and probably so I was so aligned, and I was so mesmerized with the way he was leading HR. So I said, okay, if it is Tata Technologies, it's Tata Technologies, and that's how I picked up. So the model that point of time was, you had to join Tata Technologies as an intern, as a trainee, uh, while you're pursuing your MBA. So I used to do my full-time MBA from say 7:45 in the morning to like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I stay in Hadapsar. Kothur was where my college was, and then Tata Technologies was in Hinjewadi. So,
Ah,
and after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, after college gets over, I had to rush to the organization, because that's how the model was, and probably it was a way to give practical exposure. So those 3 months were like the real test, where obviously you had to finish your college. And by the way, we had 100% attendance mandatory during those days. uh, so that was there. Obviously you had to go to office, contribute there, because your future depended on that. And then again, come back home, finish your assignments, because it was a continuous evaluation process which used to go every day in the class. So
correct.
very very busy 3 4 months being part of it. But I think with the kind of opportunities, with the kind of support I got, the day came through when they made me a final offer, saying that, hey, we're happy to confirm you as a management trainee. And that's how it all started with Tata Technologies. My first, I would say, first job in HR. That's how it started. And probably I'll just give a little more. So
Yes.
I was fortunate to be part of that initial group which got the management trainee placement. But I think my journey, my career parachuted after that, where within the first few months, I got to manage campus. It was a large scale campus across all the universities, colleges. I was fortunate to go back to my own institute to hire students, and probably that kind of opened up a perspective, wherein I was presented opportunities. I grabbed them with both hands, and within 3 years, I was recognized. I think with probably two promotions, and then I was given an opportunity to go to the US, for a 3 month period. To kind of bring in some transformative projects. So I'll pause there. So that's how it all started, and probably the initial 3 years were.
Oh wow, this is amazing trajectory. I mean, I have heard this and read this on Instagram that people work for managers, they don't work for money or they don't work for the company. It is true in your case. You went out with your manager, and that's how things came in line for you. I mean,
And Anirudh, I'll just make a point there, and not because today I'm the director head of people operations, I say this, but I always gave money a second preference. And bear in mind, it was and it is still very important, because existence depends on that.
correct,
But one thing my parents, my mentors, my teachers told me is, don't run behind money, run behind a profile, run behind an opportunity. Money will follow you.
correct.
So, and I do that today as well, right? I'm very passionate about the outcomes I'm able to create. I'm least worried about what is going to be the recognition after that. But probably, it follows. It follows. If you're true to yourself, if you're true to what you're expected to do, it follows. I mean, I just wanted to make that point before we move on.
This is very important. This is very important. I mean, I struggle a lot explaining this
Right.
to the freshers predominantly.
Yeah. And I'll give you the numbers, okay, Anirudh? 3 months at Tata Technologies, 8,000 rupees stipend.
Wow.
That is what I worked at. I mean, and no complaints, no complaints. 18 years into this profession, I have never asked that this is what I'm expecting. Never. But it has always fallen in place. Always fallen in place.
Is recognized. If you give your heart and soul passionately to the organization, it is 100% recognized. No one is that brutal in today's world that they'll not recognize you, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everyone works for that, and everyone wants to retain such talent. No one
absolutely.
wants to retain a stone. I mean, what will they do of such talent which doesn't move on its own, right? Perfect. One, I'll go back again to your profile and then continue my questions. But from here, I again want to move or make a point by asking you this. Lot of times, freshers expect that they want to join an organization right after their engineering or the courses. They expect that it would be a silver platter right after getting a degree or getting a certification or education, right? No one admires or is interested, or very few passionate folks are interested to do an internship. Nowadays, according to all the education policy updates in engineering and MBA, always had this trend of internships between the 2 years. But for engineering and other profiles, now it is made mandatory in their last step. But again, there are many loopholes around it. But still, students don't prefer internship. They wait, they let go the internship offers by saying that they are not paid, it's just 2000, it's just 5000, it's far from my house. Why will I go to Pune for doing an internship? I am in Nagpur, I want it in Nagpur, and in Nagpur no one pays that much. Blah 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 blah. And they wait, they keep on waiting for a full-time role to begin with, right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to tell such listeners or such students?
So, I have a very simple math on this. Engineering college batch would be 60 people. In a perimeter of 10 kilometers, there would be at least 10 colleges.
Ah,
So 10 into 60, that is 600.
correct,
In a perimeter of city, there will be at least 100 colleges.
correct,
100 into 60, 6,000 people.
correct,
In the perimeter of the state, there might be at least 1,000 colleges. So
correct,
1,000 into 60, it goes to whatever number, right?
correct.
In the perimeter of all the states, there might be 10,000 colleges into 60. So the math is
Very
is,
simple.
is crazy, right? Now, what I want our students to look at is the number of jobs which are created every year.
Correct.
That is where we have to realize that every opportunity which comes our way, it could be an internship, it could be a live project, it could be a full-time role, as long as it is part of what you are good at, or what probably you feel you're good at, and if you think there could be a career made out of it, you should jump onto it. See, money, as I said, right, it is important for me today. It was important to me 18 years back as well. I did my entire education on scholarships, so it was absolutely paramount important for me. But then, it's important to look at what is a long term visibility which you have. And that's why I always say, don't look at an opportunity as a job, look at it as a career. If it is able to help you with the career, right? And so again, coming back to that math, right, out of those 6 lakhs, 10 lakh students, if there are, say, a lakh students who have done projects, who have done live internships, they've already gained that exposure, they've already gained that experience. So imagine when I, as a recruiter, come to your institute, or help ask you to help us recruit. I will first give you a criteria. Hey, can you help me with students who have done some internships, who have done some live projects? I'm not going to ask you that, hey, give me students who have earned 30,000 rupees as stipend. I will tell you, Anirudh, give me data science students who know Python, who know this, who know this. I'm not going to tell you that give me students who only have earned X percent of stipend, right? So I think that is what is very important for students to realize and understand. And I always say this, that I'm very, very jealous of this generation where they have so many opportunities.
Correct.
So many opportunities. I mean, it is just that you have to present yourself and people will help you in that. But probably we shy away because we are too stuck to our apprehensions. We are too stuck to a very fairy tale, which it's like that Three Idiot, right? That interview in Three Idiot where they say, "Acha chalo, ab salary kitna loge discuss karoge." That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, right? That is where there is a necessity of us to be very realistic. If you're not realistic, you can stay in the fairy world, but only to realize that your balloon is going to get busted very soon.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. This is very rightly said. And I trust you and everyone would understand this, that the math is very simple. The number of opportunities, the number of production in terms of human capital, the gap is huge. And you need to put yourself in front. You have to grab every opportunity. You have to, I suggest students to even do non-tech, even if they want to go in tech, just to understand how things work. And you will not get selected. What would happen if you give the interview? But you will get an experience, and that would count. So, it's a very easy logic. Perfect, rightly explained by you, sir. Now, let's go back and try to understand. Your early days were very happening at Tata Technologies. Like you did a lot of hiring, and then you went to US. You understood how the projects are being brought. The last statement you told that you were sent to bring on some projects and clients around that area as well. So, do you really feel that, I mean, you have done three things. First, education, fine, everyone goes through that. Then internship based learning, what you did with Wipro, and then after that you worked as a fresher or with some as a newcomer in the industry in Tata Technologies for 4 5 years, right? How important was to do an internship, or how to choose a company while doing internship?
See, I think one of the important thing which you need to be mindful about is what is the kind of internship you would get into. So what is that you're possibly expected to do as part of the internship. A
Correct.
lot of times I've also seen students doing internship where their internship topic is one, but they also get an opportunity to experience day-to-day working, which again in my view is brilliant because you're getting that experience at no cost.
Correct. Correct.
You're getting an overall rounded experience,
Really correct.
right? So I think one is you have to identify what is the kind of internship or what is the kind of exposure you are expected to get into that, right? Get into that internship period. Second, I would say, it is good to also do a little more research about the organization, which
Uh-huh.
will give you a good understanding of what that organization stands for, what's the long-term focus, what's the short-term focus, what are the values that drive the organization, because that's where the alignment happens, whether you fit into the scheme of things or not. So that's the second bit, right? Third
Okay.
thing, while choosing internships, students should also try and speak to the alumnus of those. So either speak with professionals who are part of that organizations, or probably who are working with that organization, or if there's alumnus within your space, right? Some
Correct.
students who have done internship, it'll be good to get conversations going with them also, not really to find out कि अरे वो अच्छा है या नहीं है. It is basically, will I be able to add value, or will I be able to derive value out of it, right? So I
Correct.
think that's the third part of it. The fourth part of it is, and if that is possible, understand the kind of people who are going to be there, and then see what is the real essence of those individuals. If you're able to gather some insights, that again will help you understand how would you gel along, how can you manage or traverse through that. I think these three four things are very important to understand, and then probably make a decision of which internship to pick up. Things which should not be a factor of a decision is distance from your home, convenience to travel, what is the stipend, am I going to get, what are the benefits am I going to get, and will this turn into a PPO? I think these five things, right? Please ignore all of these things, please. And trust me, Anuj, when I say this, the way I was when I joined Tata Technologies as an intern, or probably Tata Johnson Controls as an intern,
Correct.
trust me when I say this, I'm the same person when it comes to putting in effort. I'm the same person. And probably we'll get to that stage. If I tell you my schedule these days, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But then that passion is there. That enthusiasm is there when I go to office every day in the morning and I walk out of the office. That enthusiasm can only be within you. Nobody else can drive that enthusiasm. So I think I go back to your question. So I think it is very important to ignore those five elements, but focus on the other four or five which we spoke about.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Very nicely summarized in those 4 points. What not to seek in an internship, that is very important. Follow-up question: startup or an MNC? What would you choose?
I think exposure to both is very important. And I've been fortunate to kind of go in and out of that environment. I mean, Tata Technology is well established, 3 years. But then when I went to the US, it was like a startup because a lot of things had to be done. And because there were a lot of things to do, from a 3 months short term, I got a 2 years long assignment where I became the head of HR for the first time in US. Then I came back to India because I've always wanted to settle in India. I was based in US when I decided that no, I want to come back to India, because I thought that this is where I belong to. Joined a place which was a startup in the commercial vehicle manufacturing space. So again, a startup experience. Then moved on to join Capita, which was 50,000 people at that point of time.
Right.
The India strength was probably in the IT space was around 300, 400 people. Then we grew it to like 2,500 people in the technology space. Then decided to join a startup which was 200 people, Series B funded at that point of time, and then
Yep.
scaled up. Then came back and joined KRAFTON, which in all sense is a startup, but a very very well established organization across the globe. So it's been in and out. Both, these experiences make you more holistic of what you are as a professional, and both teach you, the teachings from both are very very different, but they again make you a very balanced individual. See, if you have your mind stuck that no, I will work only with startup or I will only work with set organizations, we are actually diminishing the opportunities which are presented by the either sides.
Correct.
But if you are like in between, then you could move either sides.
Correct. Correct. Perfect. Makes sense. Uh, was Tata Technologies operating in the same automobiles sector, or it was something different then?
It was engineering services, which was so basically CAD, CAM, CAE.
Okay.
Then it was also into enterprise solution group, which was basically into SAP. And then the third part was into PLM, that is product life cycle management. But then they were predominantly focused on automotive and aerospace. So that is what they were focused on.
Okay. So Photon Motors is pretty much the same
Similar
automobile, but
automobile.
little different. Okay. Perfect. And when you moved to Capita, was it again the same, or was it a transition of?
Another interesting story, I think I forgot. So Photon Motors, I'll just probably take a step back. My boss at Tata Technologies, who had sent me to US, by the time I was in the US, he decided to move on, and he was the one who joined Photon Motors as VP HR. One
Okay.
fine day, he gave me a call, same like my mentor who gave me a call when he joined Tata Technologies. So he said, "Hey, Saurabh, I have an opportunity. Do you want to go through it?" I said, "Of course, why not?" I went through the process, got selected. Now you remember the guy who brought me to Tata Technologies?
Yes.
He was the head of HR at Capita. He gave me a call and he said, "Saurabh, I have an opportunity. Uh, do you want to come and join? Do you want to go through the process?" I said, "Of course, I will." So that's how Capita happened. So again, for me, it was of course a person, and then my inspirations were there, and that's how I found that probably is my next destination. But trust me, it was not easy to get into either of those organizations. I had to work my way through.
Yes.
It was not that hey, I knew the VP HR, so I can just walk in one day. I had to go through the process. It was a rigorous process, both at Photon Motors, both at Capita. I had to make sure that I clear all my interview rounds and then get into it, right? And again, uh, someone can give you an opportunity. So
Correct.
I think Capita as a manager HR, from manager HR to a India head HR to a global head HR, all was opportunities given by the organization and the effort which me and my team put together. So
Correct.
opportunities people can give, but only you can build on those opportunities. So
Perfect.
that's how Capita happened. And then probably that after Capita, I think my mentors decided not to hire me. And we parted ways. But again, see, Anirudh, there was something beautiful in that. When my
I
head of
was I was about to ask you, do these guys still call you?
No,
And
so and one of them is a very very dear friend, mentor,
of
buddy,
course, they are
and
family.
we keep talking. And jokingly, I was telling him a few days back that hey, his name is Joy. He's Joy George, and he leads HR for one of the product companies in Pune, and he's growing. And I jokingly said to him that hey Joy, I don't mind still being a number two to you. And he replied back saying, you're number one now. I can't hire you. But what I want to drive is, that's how you get inspired by people. That's how you would want to learn so much from people, right? But yeah, that's how Capita happened, and yeah.
It's so nice. I mean, it should be mandatory that you should have a mentor. Such,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, everyone should be fortunate enough to get such mentors in their early stage of life, because that helps. I mean,
yeah,
you have that elder brother, elder sister
yeah,
in your professional life every
yeah.
time, right? Correct,
And Anirudh, see again, and it can't be one person, okay? I
correct,
have found mentorship in multiple people. See, it all depends on how do you look at this entire spectrum, right? If I look up to my mentor as somebody who's going to give me a project and an internship and a job, then I think, it's a very, very short term, short focused, one. And I say this, I speak to on an average 300, 400 students every week. I'm speaking somewhere or the other. If you go onto my LinkedIn, you'll find so many of my sessions, which I'm doing, right? And I tell all of these students that, if you reach out to me on LinkedIn, we'll get connected, but we'll be able to build meaningful connections if there's a value in it for you as well as for me. I'm fortunate to have some 26,000, 27,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I'm not going to remember all 26,000. I'm
correct,
going to remember probably those handful who are in regular touch. So I think
correct.
that's how mentoring also is important. You can't look up to your mentor only from what will I get from the mentor in terms of a job or an internship or a project, right? It's a journey together. And
Correct.
you've got to have multiple mentors who will help you in some way or the other.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, you are not asking. You are building a relation over there. It's not a demanding kind of a relationship. Perfect. Very
Yeah.
rightly,
So in
rightly.
fact, Anirudh, I will request you. I just wrote something on LinkedIn yesterday on network or connection. I've titled this as "One Connection Can Change Your Life."
Correct.
I think if you find time, do go through it. Where
Yes.
exactly this is what I've spoken about. That network is not only a net worth, is actually a life guiding light. So
Correct.
that's how we should look at it.
I will surely read that,
Thank you.
and I would request everyone to read that as well. Perfect. Now let's move to the current date and what you have been doing. Let's talk about tech. How is tech driven at Crafton? Like, how, or since when did you start using data predominantly in your career aggressively? Because when you started, I don't think that much data was playing a role. I mean, obviously data plays a role every time at every stage, but how have you seen the industries, we can talk about HR, transitioning with these upcoming fields in analytics, predictive analytics, HR analytics, right, playing along? How, what's your take on that?
I think the industry has always been changing. There's some or the other change which keeps coming. AI is the buzz right now, but probably change is the only thing which has been constant. A
Correct.
cliche dialogue, but still, something or the other was always there, which was part of the change. I think our skill is to make sure how adaptable, agile, and flexible we are to make sure we are part of that journey, right? I think that's one of the important things. Second is now there's a data overload. There's so much data available at the moment, which should enable us to do what we are intending to do. In the past, probably so much data was not easily available. Today, you've got data which is very easily available. It depends on you. How are you going to interpret that data? How are you going to analyze that data? And how are you going to enable your decision basis the data? And then,
Correct.
small example in this, I keep telling my people operations team that, while it might be looked up as that we don't have data to make decisions, but actually ours is a function where actually the maximum data is available. We should
Yes.
have an eye to look at that data.
Correct.
Whatever we do, we can convert it into a tangible way,
Correct.
tangible outcome. We should be able to realize and understand what data is available, how do we analyze, how do we interpret, and how do we make it a data driven decision. I think that's another angle to this, that how do you use the data. Coming to AI or coming to tech, right? See, I think gaming is a space where AI has been there for a long time. I mean, it is not that AI just got introduced into gaming. I mean, I'm asked this question a lot of time, that how do you see gaming changing after AI getting introduced. And I tell them that, hey, AI has been part of gaming for a very long time.
Correct.
No, it's been part of the ecosystem for a significantly long time as compared to other industries, right?
Correct.
So it is not so it of course is going to change, but it is not going to drive away workforce per se, who is skilled and who is basically agile and flexible to be part of that journey. And probably an example here at KRAFTON India or KRAFTON globally, right? Gen AI tool, Chat GPT, for example, that access is available, enterprise access is available to all our employees. So we have said that, hey, make use of it. Let it be an enabler. Because ultimately we have to remember that a human is still required to do whatever is required to be done with the help of those tools.
Correct.
And then, I say this always, AI will take your job if you want AI to take your job.
Correct.
So and there's statistics around it. They're saying that by 2030, there would still be a 30% gap in terms of in terms of the jobs available and the skilled talent available. So they're still predicting that. So I think this fear of, will my job go away because of tech or because of AI? That's actually a fake narrative, I would say. See, obviously, it's going to take away routine jobs. If you're not going to elevate yourself, it probably is going to replace your role. But then if you also keep upgrading yourself, if you keep reskilling yourself, if you keep upskilling yourself, and there are two different things, right? Reskilling and upskilling. Upskilling is you learn a new skill, whereas reskilling is the same skill, you learn it again to see what has changed and how do you upgrade yourself. So if you're able to do that, then you can be very well part of any generation, any technology, any tool coming in. That will only be an enabler for you.
Correct. Absolutely makes sense. AI is not going to replace anyone. Of course, we are just expected now to be faster. Whatever we were doing in, say, a couple of hours, now it would be done in minutes. We can do things faster because of AI now, right? Perfect. How is it important to have that work culture created? Like all the, I'm not sure about Haber, but the other companies are predominantly global companies and startups, few Indian origin and few international companies. KRAFTON is a South Korean company, right? uh, Base might be there and they have products in gaming. uh, India is one of the global offices for KRAFTON. Probably the biggest user base might be from India as well. I'm not sure whether I'm saying the numbers in the right order or not. But yes, how big is the company and how are you making sure that the culture in the organization is correct, and what uh, it is expected to be from the headquarters point of view? Because I mean, geographically and culturally as well, both the companies are different. And you have been to US. West operates very differently than East. Japanese, Korean companies have very different, they don't use presentations, they still use doc. They want everything. They don't want a 4-point bullet point 444 thumb rule presentation. They want entire thing to be written on the presentation, right? The cultures are very different in terms of building company and how founders look at it, right? How do you make sure uh, about the culture, and how big is the team, and can you share some light on that? What do you expect with the new joinee to cope up with? How are those things?
Sure. So, KRAFTON globally, we are 3,300 people. We just announced our global results. We are a 1.8, $1.9 billion group with just 3,300 people. And as I said, we've got 30 plus IPs. PUBG is one of them. BGMI is the game for India, and then so many others, right? The ethos of the organization. So while geographically we might be very, very different, spread across, because we are present almost in every part of the world. So we have our presence. The ethos of the organization is one team, one dream, which basically there's one single dream, there's one single team, and so there is unity in diversity is how I look at Crafton. The culture and the ethos is very similar across because there's a common binding statement which is keeping all of us together. The beauty is while the headquarters will have a certain way of working, there's a lot of empowerment which has been done locally to say that hey, you are the best person to realize what is really necessary to be done in your geography. We will help you maximize that realization. We'll help you with basic philosophy around all of this, but the practices should be aligned to the local requirements, and that is how the local teams are empowered to the nail, so that they're able to kind of create that culture within the organization. A few driving points for us is innovation, empowerment, transparency. So these are three very, very important elements for us as Crafton. So each of our employees would know what we are going to do in the next 6 months to 12 months to the detail. Where are we going to invest? Where are we currently focusing to invest? What is the kind of game which is expected to come? Which collaborations are going to be live in the next 3 to 6 months time? And trust me, Anirudh, there's never been a leakage. Never been a leakage. Because people are so passionate about the organization, so passionate about the brand. They feel that it's their organization, it's their product. So how can a founder share some information about the future of the product with someone else, right? That's how passionate they feel about it. So that is one part, right? Second is, as leaders, and I'm very fortunate that I am surrounded by leaders who walk the talk. It's just not words, but it is actions. It is the way you come across as leaders. That also drives a lot of ethos within the organization. That is how the culture gets set. And I'm blessed to have that fabulous leadership space within Crafton, where we are able to drive the culture. Third is, another focus area for us, which has always been very consistent, is people. So we look at fan first and we look at employee first. So both of these are amalgamated together when we build our processes, policies. How do we look at bringing benefits to the organization? And because we have a local flavor to everything and anything we do, we are able to bring in the best from the industry to our people. And how has this translated? Long story short, my retention within the organization is consistently above the 95% mark. Consistently. My attraction is consistently over the 95-96% mark. That means 100 offers made, 95-96 people will join us for sure. And my employee referral percentage in my new hire hovers between 30 to 50%.
Okay.
Again, is a very strong message to me, saying that my people are happy to be part of the organization and they want their friends and family and ex-colleagues to be part of this organization. So I think these are a few things which kind of drive us, and then that's how we look at the culture at Crafton. Very collaborative, open. The vibe is fabulous, and I think there's a space for everybody, each one of us, to kind of learn, grow, and obviously earn as well.
Perfect. I have two questions around this. One, how do you make sure that the person who you are hiring is culturally fit? Second question will sort of give answer to the first one. 30%, as you told, is contribution to the new team is of referrals. So obviously the guy who would refer a like-minded guy. So the same similar talent comes in. So you can also highlight about what would be the contribution of the remaining 70% of the sources, and how do you make sure that the person is culturally fit? Because what I have seen, this is my personal challenge. The talent which companies generally look up for is scarce. Might be various issues, geographically, financially, there are a lot of challenges while hiring the right talent. Sometimes it feels that, okay, this guy might not be culturally fit, but we need him right now. So should we hire him or not? If we don't hire, then there's a different trouble. We don't have the people to do that job. But if we hire, we surely know that this guy is not culturally fit. This relation won't sustain, right? So how do you trade off between these two, or what's the source?
So there is no trade-off in the first place.
Perfect.
We are, and I am specifically okay not to hire, but to hire a bad, not or to go with a bad choice, right? And see, people are not bad. It's just the fitment within the organization which is not working, right? So I think we are very bold to say that, and on every stage of the process, right? Every stage of the process, everybody is empowered to make that decision, saying that, hey, no, this doesn't fit in, this fits in. So at any stage, including the last discussion which my head of HR does, if she believes that this person is not going to be aligned to the culture, we are okay to let go the other initial 3-4 rounds of discussions we have had.
Okay.
So that is one very strong philosophy. It's okay not to hire than hiring a wrong fit to the organization.
Perfect.
Second is there's empowerment, as I said, right? Empowerment at every stage, and cultural fitment is checked at every stage of the process. So through the technical interviews, through functional interviews as well, there are checks made on the cultural fitment as well, and those are very candidly flagged into the entire process. At times, they're also flagged to say that, hey, by the way, I felt this, but when you're speaking next, why don't you also drill down a little more on that aspect? So that transparency in the process is there, because we use a ATS, and all of that is kind of documented. So that is the second bit of it, right? The third is a very, very strong entry conversation. So when somebody from my HR team reaches out to the candidate through any of the sources, right? It could be employee referrals, it could be direct sourcing, it could be LinkedIn, or it could be campus for that matter, right? That entry conversation is very important for us, and we have put tremendous stress on the first conversation being the right conversation. So if that individual feels that he or she is probably not going to be a fit, even if it's the best fit from a technical standpoint, we do not proceed with the candidate. We are okay to let go that candidate, because you have to be very cautious of who comes into the organization. And that's what I keep telling my HR team, that you play the most crucial role for me, and I want to trust your judgment. If your judgment says that no, this person is not going to be right, then do not progress that person to the next conversation, because you're asking everybody to invest in that process. So that's how we kind of look at the entire cultural assimilation, or the different sources which we have, and it holds good with fresher hiring as well. See, the ability, the basic things which we look at is learnability. How passionate are you about the role, and about how do you foresee your career in that space? Third is, are you really aware of what KRAFTON does? How is the gaming industry? What is required to be part of the gaming industry? So how well aware are you of the industry and the organization and all of those things? We look at analytical skills. We look at your knowledge quotient to be on the higher side, and of course your cultural fitment has to be in line with what we are looking at. So these are a few things. Sorry, I've been giving very long answers, but
this is important. Helps me understand the entire analogy. So I mean, you can go ahead, no problem. Perfect. So now, with respecting the time, we don't have a lot of time. I'll not take much more time. We'll just ask you one last question. If someone wants to get into KRAFTON and feels that they are culturally fit, step one, how do they apply? And does KRAFTON offers internship or hires fresher? Not I'm requesting everyone not to trouble you with direct DMs on your LinkedIn, just the standard way.
No, I think so. We do. We've launched our KRAFTON India Early Talent Program last year, where we have recruited interns across the organization. We have also had full-time hires. In year one, we went to the IITs, and we've recruited full-time talent. But we've also recruited interns from local schools, or schools across the country. Again, the numbers are not huge. At the moment we've hired, I think, 5 or 6 interns, and probably four full-time hires we did last year. This year again we are intending to do the same. So that's the possible landscape. I mentioned something about transparency, and that's how our interviewing, I mean, our recruitment process also is. Any roles, it could be even an internship role, is always flashed on our LinkedIn page. You apply through that process. If it's an institute or a college who wants to, be part of the process, they would reach out to us, and we will also make them part of that process, and help them go through the same steps which anybody who would directly apply to us also goes through, and then kind of go ahead in terms of those opportunities.
Perfect. Perfect. According to you, I already said that I'll not ask you, but yes, the floor is open. Everyone can post their questions. We can take 1 or 2 questions by the time it is 7. So you can start posting. Till then, I'll just ask a follow-up question. According to you, what are the core skill sets expected in today's time?
Sure. And probably I'll answer that a little more from a KRAFTON India standpoint. See, we are a publishing arm for KRAFTON Inc. in India. What that means is our development happens back in Korea at this point of time. In publishing, we do product management here. We do marketing, that is brand marketing. We do business development here. We do the entire design here, which is basically your 2D design.
Okay.
We do a lot of live operations, so basically managing the entire operations for the game, doing a lot of data related work.
Wow.
So we hire a lot of product analysts who keep churning data, who keep looking at data, keep feeding that data back into the system as well, right? So that's what we do in the publishing space. The second space which we operate, so basically game, bringing new games to the country is one area. Second area is we do a lot of investments. We've done over 200 million in different startups in India. A very recent investment was in Cashfree, where we led their investment round, and we've done a significant investment with them. So that's the other space where we do recruit interns as well as full-time hires, which is basically in the investment space. The third space for us, and then that is where which can be fascinating for students, is we run our own incubation program, uh,
Wow.
wherein we will provide technical mentoring as well as financial mentoring. It's a 9-month long program, and it goes through a rigorous selection process. So if you have a game concept, if you have a game product, and if we find that to be a part of our approach, we mentor those teams. At the moment, we've got 4 teams which are incubated with us. One is from Nagaland, one is from Delhi, and 2 are from Bangalore. And they are almost through the process of the mentoring space. 2 of them are ready with the game. One of them has already announced their game coming to life. The other one is in the process, and the other 2 are still building the games. We also announced a second cohort where we are looking to incubate 6 to 10 teams. Up to 2 CR is the funding which we give to each of these teams. Of course, it's a milestone based, but idea is to create an ecosystem for people to develop games, and be the one who can help them bring that concept to life. So that's another space where we also look at or create opportunities for early stage startups in the game development, which again is a option for students, because a lot of those are young entrepreneurs who want to make some career in game, right? So I think so that's what the landscape is. Beyond that, right, so there are a lot of opportunities in gaming. I mean, beyond KRAFTON India also, right, there are opportunities in gaming, and that's what I want people to realize. Playing game is of course one of the things, but there's a lot of opportunities around it. So game
Yeah.
design, game development, the entire QA, the quality, assurance, which is basically testing the games.
Correct.
Creating content is another space which is creating so many opportunities. Being a professional esports player, so being a is another very very upcoming profession, if you could ask me.
Correct. Correct.
So there are multitude of options which are there in gaming, which are available. I think it's important to go deep down into what are the things available. So I think that's probably what I'll put it from the opportunity landscape perspective.
Perfect. How? I mean, Krafton is doing a phenomenal job by creating an ecosystem for founders to build a product around by incubating them. That's the need of the hour, because I have been visiting a lot of colleges in central India and in southern part and in Pune, and met a lot of founders who are incubated within the colleges and are developing games. So this would really help them a lot. Uh, how do you think, is India ready with the talent required to develop a game? So as I told you that we are into development of data science, machine learning, and AI, we teach these core skill sets which could fit in with every organization. But and these skill sets are now being coming up as an engineering branch. It's not just CS, it's CS and AI, CS and DS. How do you think, this is our finale question? All the questions probably we have summed it up in some or the other way in our conversation. So I'm not taking a particular question from the audience. But yeah, how do you think is the game development as a genre within the engineering area coming up? Or are we ready? Or is there a gap? Or how is it?
Opportunity is huge, and the landscape of the opportunity is tremendous. I think from a skill perspective, we have started on that journey, and we probably have to accelerate on that journey. I have very recently, visited a lot of universities, which who have started on this journey, where they have started, or are developing curriculums which will be focused on game development, game publishing, design, and all of that. But then the gap is wide. And then I'll just give you numbers again. Data. You
Yes.
data, right? So today we've got 600 million gamers in the country. The number of gamers expected in the next few years is 1 billion.
My God.
The gaming as an industry across the globe is bigger today than movies and music already put together.
Doing this.
And it's probably trending in the $250 billion as an industry. It's very rapidly moving to the $350-375 billion as an industry across the globe.
Wow.
Now, so much so, we're coming back to India, right? Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, during his 15th August speech last year, had a specific mention of gaming as part of his Independence Day speech, where he said that we will definitely play games, the summation of that was, yes, you should play games, but then we should also focus on building games which the world will play.
Correct.
It was reinforced again in the parliamentary session which just recently concluded, where he mentioned about gaming again as an important element of growth in the country. Before, he also met some game influencers to understand how this entire ecosystem works, right? So I think there's a tremendous realization, tremendous focus, which is now being put into this space because of the opportunity landscape which is there. So it's important that we get to that stage where we've got formal coaching, formal training available in that space. We develop those students, develop those skills, and offer them to organizations like KRAFTON and so many other, right? So there is definitely a huge skill gap, and again, the data says probably there will be a gap of 2 to 3 lakh professionals in this space by 2030 as of now. So that's the opportunity landscape in terms of numbers.
Humongous. I mean, it's a very big opportunity, and the trend is going at a very rapid pace because I mean, the talent required in a high level data analytics and Gen AI and spaces is huge, but the production is also picking up. I mean, India is coming out to be a talent pool of and around AI, but this space is something where government is as well focusing. I mean, so it's a very good opportunity. A lot of companies are coming in India and investing as well, like Krafton is doing. You have done a phenomenal job by bombarding us with the knowledge in and around gaming and enlightening us with your journey from the beginning, and told us the importance of work, passion, internships. Thank you so much for delivering and being here
No,
and
thank you,
taking
Anirudh. Thank
us.
you, Anirudh. I enjoyed being part of this conversation. It was really, very, I would say I was able to open my heart and then share things, very, very candidly with you and the students. So thank you for this opportunity. Anirudh, if we have 2 minutes, I think there are students who have asked some questions, and I
Yes,
don't mind, going through it if we have 2 minutes. Uh,
yes,
I think the first one is about Unreal Engine 4 and who want to join Krafton. So I think for us, it is more of, I mean, I think the incubation program is where we would look at game developers or people who would have concept. So any of the engines is fine with us. But more in the product side, it is more of the analytical skills, more of the logical skills which become a part, or people being designers, etc. How to get internship? I mentioned,
cover.
open on a
Yes,
LinkedIn page. Somebody says that as you mentioned, to do internship, and I have done 3 internships, and the company says it doesn't count. I'm not sure what are those kind of internships you have done, but I would only say that probably it might be a one or few companies which might think that those internships will not count. But trust me, do not lose heart by stopping to do internship. It's an experience which you are gathering, and it will help you, maybe not to get a job, but once you get something, it will help you to scale up quickly. So don't lose your heart. It might just be that set of organizations who do not look at internships, but I'm sure there are a lot of organizations like us who look at internship as one of the key elements.
correct, correct. Absolutely correct. Now,
Yes.
since you answered this, I have one more follow-up question for you. Okay, like if you permit, I'll just ask
Please,
one.
please.
Uh, what are the core skill sets which gaming industry looks at?
So I think storytelling,
Okay.
you're being very creative. You need to have a story in mind. That's
Yes,
how that's become the foundation of the game. uh, you having analytical skills, again, very important.
correct.
And logic, how do you build that story into a product, right? So that
Okay.
logical thinking, again, is extremely important. uh, the entire creative side of things is again something which is very important, because you got to have uniqueness in your thought, uniqueness in your approach. So these are a few things which are uh, paramount important. But I would also say the intelligence also is required, because that's how you bring something unique to
Right.
life. So these become a very, very integral part. So your logic, your ability to code, all of these are, again, your analysis, interpretation. Again, these are, again, very, very important core skills, which are required, to be a part of the gaming ecosystem.
Okay. Perfect. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Thank you so much for taking out time. And again, a special thank you for you for addressing the 5 questions what were there in the chat section as well. Thank you so much. It was truly amazing to have you today. I am pretty sure that everyone learned a lot. I myself has learned a lot from your journey, and I am really inspired how your professional life has turned, and it brings light and hope for everyone that okay, if you work passionately, things come in light, right? Thank you so much for spending this evening with us.
So thank you, Anuj. And I would only appeal to the students by saying that, be true to yourself, put in effort, do not be worried of the outcome. Enjoy the process. Outcomes will fall in place. Failures will be part of your journey, because you can't have a straight line. You will always have an up and down, and that's how life also. I mean, that's how we know that we are alive when there's up and down. So there never can be a straight line. So failures will be part of the journey. Fourth is be passionate about anything and everything you do. Believe that you are able to create that difference. The last bit, which is paramount to all of this, let values drive what you are as a human being. Uh, I'm not somebody who believes that there is something called as gray. It is either 0 or 1 when it comes to values, ethics. And if you're able to have that clear cut focus that it has to be either 0 or 1, trust me, I put my hand on my heart and say that, you will only and only grow in life. You will learn through your experiences. Being 0 and 1 might put you in difficult situation, but it will only help you to be sustainably successful. Remember all of these things. These are things which our parents have taught us, our friends have taught us, our teachers have taught us. Probably in the scheme of things, we sometimes ignore it, but these basics have not changed, will never change, and those are the ones which will remain constant. And trust me, trust the process. Do not worry of the outcomes. Uh, put put a lot of emphasis on your efforts and the passion, and the future is in your hand, is not in anyone else's hand. All the very best. I'm more than happy to connect with all of you over LinkedIn. Do whatever I can in my capacity to help you navigate your careers. All the very best, and thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Have a good evening.